could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check is I'm chest, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, heard it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check is I'm chest, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave.
What up, Fin fans? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Fin Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How y'all doing out there this morning? How y'all doing this morning? My lights are tripping out again. What the hell? I don't know what's going on, mother effers. So how's everybody doing? These shits. You seen the thumbnail? Chris Grier. We're gonna get into Chris Grier and all the drama, all the years and years of, and not that I expect someone to be perfect. Let's start there. Not that I expect someone to be perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. Obviously, there's going to be diamonds in the rough. There's going to be players that come out the draft that no one expected to become the players that they are today. So, I don't expect someone to be perfect, but I do expect improvement. I do expect you to hit on some of these draft picks. I do expect you to not always draft the player that has question marks surrounding them. Let's get our good mornings out the way, though. Let's say hello to people in the chat, because I appreciate you. Michael, good morning. Craig, good morning. Kat, good morning. Good morning. Kat says, I told you it was a soft rebuild. Keyword SOWSOFT. Bonnie, good morning. This goddamn late. Sorry about that. Jesus. Whoa. So we're gonna take a look back at some of the reasons that we're at the spot that we're currently at. Why we're currently in the position we're at with a huge salary cap, a lot of players missing in key positions. We got holes all over this team, especially along the trenches. We have these prima donnas that we brought into this team. We got players that are constantly injured. It's just a complete mess. It's a complete mess, and it's years and years and years of not making the right decisions. It's years and years of not making the right decisions, not bringing in the right guys, and then having to overcompensate by bringing in guys via trade and giving them huge contracts. I mean, it's a domino effect. It really is. It's a domino effect. One bad decision leads to two other bad decisions. We're not supposed to be in this position right now. We're not supposed to be here. What is this year? Was 6, 7 of a rebuild? We're supposed to be competing for championships right now. We're supposed to be competing for championships and not contemplating rebuilds, soft rebuilds or full rebuilds, whatever way you want to look at it. We're not supposed to be in this position. We're supposed to be in the prime of our franchise quarterback's career. We're supposed to be winning games. We're supposed to be winning playoff games. We're supposed to be in the position of the Buffalo Bills, of the Kansas City Chiefs, of the Philadelphia Eagles. Shoot, even the Green Bay Packers. The Baltimore Ravens. That's the position we're supposed to be in right now. And how far away are we from those teams? It's night and day right now. It's night and day. It's night and day. From the moment Chris Grier took over. Now, Chris Grier, his first draft that he was in control of, I think he did a pretty good job. Chris Grier's first draft that he was in control of, I think he did an excellent job. And we're going to run down the list. We're going to go run down the list. But, I mean, continued mess ups by this franchise has just left us in a position that we shouldn't be in. We should not be in this position right now. We should be competing for championships. Bottom line, we should be competing for championships. And the fact that Chris Grier is still the general manager of this team is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When is enough enough? We talk about Tyreek Hill and his antics and moving on from Tyreek Hill, but when is enough enough from our general manager? His smart ass comments too, which he dropped another one on us at his presser. He dropped another snide ass remark at his presser that I didn't like. It made me sick to my stomach that he has that opinion of the media, of the fan base. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. 2016 NFL draft. We had a good draft. We had a pretty good draft. Laramie Tunsil falls to us at the number, 13th pick. Laramie Tunsil falls to us. He was supposed to be a top 5 pick in that draft. The smoking video comes out. You know, he falls in our lap. Great pick. Laramie Tunsil, great pick. Second round pick, Xavier Howard. Great pick. Xavier went through his issues here in Miami with injuries, with contract extensions, but Xavier Howard was a pretty good pick. One of the top corners this team has ever seen. A second round pick. I'm happy with that pick. Third round, we got Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake he had potential at the running back position. Good special teamer. Half semi-responsible for the Miami Miracle. I'm not mad at that third round pick. It could have been better. Yeah, it could have been better. But 2016, I'm giving him a passing grade for that draft. That's a good draft. That's a very good draft. So he got started on the right foot. He started out on the right foot. Then the 2017 draft happened, folks. The 2017 draft was a complete nightmare, a complete miss on so many levels. Our first round draft pick in 2017 at number 22 was Charles Harris. Charles Harris. Who? Charles Harris? Some of you may not even know who Charles Harris is. That was a complete whiff. Complete whiff. Players that we missed out on by selecting Charles Harris at number 22, TJ Watt. Imagine if we would have drafted TJ Watt there. Buda Baker. Buda Baker was available. Delvin Cook. Joe Mixon. All those players were on the board available for the Miami Dolphins at pick 22, and we select Charles Harris. Now, again, I understand you're not going to get all these picks right. So if it was just this one, I could understand. But it is going to be a multitude of different ones. In the second round, we take Raekwon McMillan, linebacker. Available when we select Raekwon McMillan, Deion Dawkins, great offensive lineman for the Buffalo Bills. Elvin Kamara available when we took Raekwon McMillan. Cooper Kupp available when we took Raekwon McMillan. Chris Godwin available when we took Raekwon McMillan. Kareem Hunt available when we took Raekwon McMillan. 2017 was a complete failure as far as the draft is concerned. And listen, having successful drafts affects what we do in free agency. It affects us having to trade for specific players. It affects us having to give out huge contracts to these players starting year one. So the draft affects everything. 2018. He gets the pick right. Now, could we have went in some different directions? Yeah, we could have. And there was some good players available when we picked in the 2018 draft at number 11. But I'm not mad at the pick. Minkah Fitzpatrick is one of the top safeties in all of football. But Brian Flores was just too hard-headed to make it work. So we traded Mika before he was even given an opportunity to turn into the player he is today. That was a failure by this franchise. That was a failure by Chris Grier not telling the coach of this football team, make it work. He's our first round draft pick. Make it work. So we go and trade Minkah Fitzpatrick, and now he's having a Hall of Fame career for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now he's having a Hall of Fame career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because Brian Flores' ego. Because Chris Grier didn't say, Brian, you got to make it work. He's our first round draft pick. He's a talented player. He's telling you that this position doesn't work for his skill set, and you're still trying to put him there. Maybe you should have listened to him. Look at the career he's had. Maybe you should have listened to him, Brian Flores. Brian Flores is a great defensive coach. Don't get me wrong. But maybe Brian Flores should have listened. So that draft was a loss of a pick right there. That makes this draft a failure. Even though we picked the right player, Mika Fitzpatrick, we got it wrong still. Chris Grier still got it wrong. Brian Flores still got it wrong. Other players available that we could have went. If Mika Fitzpatrick wasn't a fit for your team, there was other Pro Bowl caliber players that we could have got. Derwin James was available at number 11. Jair Alexander available at number 11. Lamar Jackson available at number 11. Lamar Jackson available. Nick Chubb available. Nick Chubb. James Daniels. Pick number 42. We take Mike Gesicki. Available at that pick. And Mike Gesicki was a good receiving tight end. He's very athletic, but he wasn't an all-around tight end. It was, if Mike Gesicki was on the field, you knew we weren't running the ball. Dallas Goedert, a good all-around tight end, was available when we selected Mike Gesicki. Jesse Bates, an all-pro safety, was available when we selected Mike Gesicki. Fred Warner, possibly the best middle linebacker in all of football, available when we selected Mike Gesicki. A middle linebacker has been a need for this team since Zach Thomas retired. Mark Andrews was available when we selected Mike Gesicki. (2018) was a failure. Not only because we missed out on Lamar Jackson, but because we took Minka Fitzpatrick and we couldn't make it work. We traded him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a Hall of Fame type safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we get left holding our junk. Failure. 2018 was a failure. 2018 was a failure. Oh, it gets worse, folks. 2019. We draft Christian Wilkins first round. I consider that a win. Christian Wilkins is a good player. Christian Wilkins was a good player for us. A very good player. Christian Wilkins was a very good player for us. I consider that a win. Second round, we take Michael Dieter. And Max Crosby was available. Dre Greenlaw was available. There was better players available. But I'm going to give this draft a win. I'm going to give 2019 a win. At pick 151, we got Van Ginkel. Good player. Good pick. Good pick. But why this draft was a failure 2019 was, even though it was a win, it was still a failure because we didn't get these guys to their second contract. So even when we draft properly, we're not keeping our own players. We're letting them walk back out the door. We're letting them walk out the door. We're not oh, congratulations. Thanks. You did a great job for us. Go sign your contracts elsewhere. We don't want you no more. Christian Wilkins, Van Ginkel, both we let both of them walk out the door. And yeah, $27 million a year for Christian Wilkins is ridiculous. But that's why Chris Grier is a failure also, is that you don't have the foresight to see that, hey, why wasn't Christian Wilkins signed prior to the year of him becoming a free agent? You probably would have got Christian Wilkins $5 million a year cheaper if you had just re-signed him the year before. If you gave him the contract extension the year before, we probably would have been able to sign him for 21, 22. We wouldn't have had to pay 27. Van Ginkel, if you would have gave him a contract extension the year before, we could have got him on a good deal. We should have brought Van Ginkel back anyway, because the contract that he signed with Minnesota wasn't outrageous. But Chris Grier always letting these guys get all the way to free agency and then saying, oh, well, they've earned the right to test free agency. Give me a break. Give me a break. If I have to wait all the way to free agency to re-sign with my team, why wouldn't I test free agency? Why wouldn't I see what I can get on the open market? Why wouldn't I see? The incentive of signing a contract a year before is I get my money sooner. I don't got to wait another year to get paid. So yeah, I'm going to sign for a little bit less. That's a failure by this front office. That's a failure by this front office. And then we got the 2020 NFL draft, folks. This is perhaps the biggest, determination of where we are as a franchise right now. The 2020 NFL draft. We had traded Micah away. We got an extra first rounder. We had 3 first round draft picks in this draft. Again, you can feel how you want about Tua as the player. You can think he's a good player. You can think he's a bad player. The fact of the matter and I'm on the side of Tua is a good enough player to win Super Bowls with. That's my opinion. Not everybody agrees with it, and I understand that, and I respect that. But the fact of the matter is, Tua wasn't the right pick at number 5. Tua was not the right pick at number 5 simply because of what we're dealing with right now. His injury history. Tua cannot stay healthy. Tua was coming off a career-threatening hip injury. Not to mention all the other injuries he suffered while in college. But the injury to his hip, that was considered career-threatening. Tua had to make separate videos showing that he could throw the ball and send them to teams. That's a red flag. That's a super red flag. Football is a physical sport. So an injury-prone quarterback that's undersized, coming off an injury that was career-threatening, you select him instead of Justin Herbert. And I'm not the hugest Justin Herbert fan. I don't think, as a player, as a football player, I don't think Justin Herbert's that much better, if at all better, than Tua Tagovailoa. He has a different set of skill sets, yes. He does things differently than Tua, yes. Tua's very accurate, very, knows where he wants to go with the football. He's very good at that stuff, and I think he's way better than Justin Herbert at that type of stuff. But Justin Herbert is an athletic quarterback. Justin Herbert has that rocket arm. Justin Herbert can stay healthy for the most part. Again, I don't think Justin Herbert is leaps and bounds better as a quarterback than Tua. They have a different skill set, absolutely. Absolutely. But Herbert was the correct answer at quarterback. that, you know what? If you didn't want Justin Herbert, Jordan Love was available. He did want Jordan Love. Even if you didn't want Justin Herbert, you could have traded down. Maybe picked up an extra second round pick in 2020. And I don't know who was selected in the second round of the 2020 draft. But I don't know about that, Scotty. I think Jordan Love was super talented coming out of college. I do. I like Jordan Love coming out of college a lot. I liked Tua a lot. I was skeptical about Justin Herbert coming out of college. I like Justin Herbert. Yes, Miller, we could have used number 5 to bolster the line, and we could have got Jordan Love set with our number 18 pick. Sackman says, imagine if we got Hurts in the second round. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people thought that Jalen Hurts, and I'm not that huge on Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is a product of having a perfect team built around him. Jalen Hurts is a product of having the Philadelphia Eagles are perfectly built. They got a perfectly built team. Philadelphia does. But I don't want to jump out the window. I don't want to be like, oh, we should have took a 6th rounder instead of Tua at 5. You know what I mean? I don't want to jump out the window with the picks because that's unrealistic for Chris Grier. I want to be realistic with giving Chris Grier options. You're not going to know, like Tom Brady. I couldn't sit here and criticize the Dolphins GM for not taking Tom Brady in the first round when obviously people saw him as a 6th round talent. That's not fair. So I'm trying to be fair as possible. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be fair as possible. What up, Aqua? What up? But regardless, Tua wasn't the answer. AJ Terrell, CeeDee Lamb was available at 5. Justin Herbert, Tristan Wirfs. Number 18, we select Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson was so inconsistent coming out of college. He was undersized. He was dealing with some stuff because he gave his sister some bone marrow, which is very admirable. You know, I would have done the same thing. He saved his sister's life. He saved his sister's life, but that doesn't mean we got to draft the guy. Austin Jackson was the wrong pick at number 18. Players available at number 18. Jordan Jefferson. And obviously we needed wide receiver help. You know, CeeDee Lamb was available. Jordan Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Love at number 18. Patrick Queen, linebacker. Again, we've missed the linebackers. We've missed out on quarterbacks since Dan Marino's been here. Since Zach Thomas has been here. 2 of the key positions on the football field, linebacker, middle linebacker, the quarterback of the defense, and quarterback, we continue the whiff on. And they're the 2 most important positions on a football field. At number 30, the worst pick of all of them, Noah Igbenogany. This guy, what were we thinking? What were we thinking with this draft pick? Make sure you hit that like button. I had very low likes on yesterday's show. It really killed me. I know you guys were watching TD because he went live. You guys stuck me in the back on that one. You showed where your true alliance lies. I see it. Very low like numbers. Make sure you hit like on yesterday video too. Help me out. I have very low numbers on yesterday video. I understand. You know what I mean? I hope you guys eventually become thin posse people instead of TD people, or, you know, not to hate on TD, but, you know, hopefully you guys at some point choose the Finn Posse and you don't got to change that channel. But make sure you hit the like button for both. I appreciate it. Yeah, hit the like button from yesterday video too. Noah Igmendogany. What were we thinking? Jonathan Taylor was available. T. Higgins was available. Noah was absolutely horrible for us all. Just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Second round, we got Robert Hunt. You know, the Noah pick in the first round, I said T. Higgins was available. Jonathan Taylor was available. Trayvon Diggs, the corner from Alabama, who's been an all-pro, he was available. Jalen Hurts was available. Antoine Winfield was available. All these players were available, and we picked Noah Igmendogany. And then we get the pick right in the second round with Robert Hunt. Becomes a very, very good guard. Becomes a very good guard. One of the top guards in all of football. And what do? Again, we don't offer him a contract. We don't offer him a contract. We let him get all the way to free agency, and then he gets all the way to free agency, and what happens? What happens? Now he becomes out of our – now we don't want to pay him $20 million a year. But if you would have offered him a contract extension a year before instead of $20 million a year, we bring him back for 17. We bring him back for 17. We bring him back for 17. We could have had Christian Wilkins and Robert Hunt on this team still at a price cheaper than what they're playing right now for. That is a mess up by Chris Grier. He wants to go get other teams' talent and bring them in rather than re-sign our own. Massive mistakes. The fact that we passed on Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and another one's coming up here in just a second. Another one's coming up in just a second that affects the way this team is constructed today. '21 draft. This was another opportunity for us to hit a home run. We had 3 first-round draft picks last year in 2020. 3 first-rounders. 2021, we got the number 3 pick in the draft. We got the number 3 pick in the draft. We need a wide receiver. We need a wide receiver. Who's the number 1 receiver in the draft? Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase. Jamar freaking Chase. Jamar Chase. Now, I don't necessarily blame Chris Grier for this decision. San Francisco calls us, offers us 3 first-round draft picks to move up to number 3. We'd have to move back to, 11, 12. I'm not mad at that. So we accept that trade. We move back. Then we want to move back up to get Jalen Waddle. That's where the mistake happened. We give Philly 2 first-round draft picks to move back up to get Jalen Waddle. They take the pick that we had. They select Devontae Smith. There's an argument to be made which one of those wide receivers were better. Now, we could have walked away with Jamar Chase, which, man, that's looking very good right now. Or we walk away with Jalen Waddle, which cost us 2 first-rounders to move up to that pick. Move back up. Cost us 2 of the 3 first-rounders that San Francisco gave us to move back up. Or we could have stayed put after that trade and selected Devontae Smith. Now, Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, just like Tua and Justin Herbert, I think these players are very similar as in how good they are. but they definitely have two different skill sets. Jalen Waddle's more elusive. Jalen Waddle's faster. Jalen Waddle's that more game-breaking player. Devontae Smith is more of a he's more liable to catch the ball. He's more liable to run the perfect route. I mean, if I had to try to explain it like oh man. Devontae Smith is more like a Marvin Harrison, Chris Carter, not super fast, but great hands, great route runner. And Jalen Waddle is more of a oh man, who can I compare him to? Oh man, I don't know. Someone super fast. We traded back up to get Jalen Waddle. We traded back to San Francisco gave us 3 picks. They gave us their number 11, another pick, and then the next year's pick. We had to trade number 11, next year's pick, to move up to 6 to get Jalen Waddle. So 2 of the 3 draft picks, we only netted 1 draft pick for trading down from 3 to 6. That's the basis. That's what it equals out to. I mean, that's it. That's it in its simplest form. That we from trading from 3 to 6, we only gained 1 first round pick. If we would have traded from 3 to 11 and stayed put, we would have netted 2 first round picks. So we could have had Devontae Smith and 2 first round picks, or Jalen Waddle and 1 first round pick. Bonnie, yeah. So I mean, people had Waddle, and some people had Devontae Smith. And I'm not trying to shit on Jalen Waddle. We traded back up and we selected Jalen Waddle. We could have stayed put and selected Devontae Smith. I'm not saying Devontae Smith is even better than Jalen Waddle. I'm saying I'd probably rather have Devontae Smith and 2 first round picks than Jalen Waddle and 1 first round pick. Miller says Devontae is a better wide receiver. I don't even know if that's necessarily true. I'm just saying I'd probably rather have the 2 first. I'm not trying to shit on Jalen Waddle. I'm telling you exactly what happened. You can try to. I'm not saying we traded up to get Jalen Waddle, so it was a bad pick. I'm saying we traded these picks for these picks. Damian says I would have selected Chase, to be honest. I mean, if we would have selected Jamar Chase in this draft, we wouldn't have had to make the trade the next year. We wouldn't have had to trade all those picks for Tyreek Hill. Again, Scotty, that doesn't matter to me. I'm talking about we could have stayed put and got a receiver with a similar potential if we stayed at 11. I could care less about who was available when. I'm saying we should have stayed at 11. If we make that trade and pass on Jamar Chase, we should have stayed at 11 and drafted Waddle if he dropped to 11, or Smith if he dropped to 11. I'm just saying we should have stayed at 11. It makes no difference to me which one of those players fell to 11. You're making it about the player. I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it was wrong to trade back up for whoever we selected. I'd have rather had Jamar Chase than Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith and a pick. But regardless, then we had the 18th pick in this draft. We select Jalen Phillips, another player with an injury history. This guy retired from football in college because of concussions. We select another player with injury history. And yeah, he hasn't dealt with none of the concussions in the pros, but he also hasn't lived up to the number 18 pick. The guy's never had 10 sacks in a season. I'm a Jalen Phillips fan. I like Jalen Phillips. But he hasn't lived up to the number 18 pick. And then what we look like got a steal in the draft, Javon Howland. All right, Sky. We traded up for the number 6 pick so we could select a wide receiver. It was, not for Jalen Waddle. We traded up for the number 6 pick. We should have stayed at number 11 because one of those receivers was going to fall to us at number 11 regardless. Whether it was Waddle, whether it was Devontae Smith, whichever one it was. I'm really not trying to make it about the player. If that's how you're taking it, I apologize. I'm just saying I'd rather have either one of them in 2 first-round picks than trading back up to number 6. So I'm not trying to make it about the player. If that's how it's coming off, I apologize. I'm not shooting shots at Jalen Waddle. I'm shooting shots at us trading up to take a receiver that we could have got with similar potential at number 11. But Jalen Phillips, he was not worth the number 18 pick. I'm sorry. He just wasn't. At number 18, you expect a beast player. Micah Parsons was picks before him. Let's be real. Even the number 6 pick or number 11 pick, if we traded up to number 6, the pick shouldn't have been a wide receiver. It should have been Penei Sewell. We should have drafted Penei Sewell with the number 6 pick, not a wide receiver. Pat Surtain was available. Devontae Smith, obviously. Michael Parsons was available. No, we took a wide receiver that was coming off his final college season who missed most of it. He was injured the whole year. Jalen Waddle was injured his whole year. You know what I mean? Jalen, why did we take a receiver that was injured the whole year instead of Penei Sewell, Pat Surtain, Devontae Smith, Michael Parsons? Now I am making it about the receiver, I guess. And then in the second round, we take fucking Liam Eichenberg. Liam Eichenberg. Players, we traded up for Liam Eichenberg. Players available. Aaron Banks. You know, the guard that just got all the money in free agency because he's such a beast. Nick Bolton. Another good middle linebacker. Creed Humphreys, an all-pro offensive lineman. Nico Collins, a young stud wide receiver. All these players available instead of Liam Eichenberg. Creed Humphreys. We could have had Creed Humphreys. Creed Humphreys was the better prospect, too. That's what kills me. Creed Humphreys was the better prospect. And we take Liam Eichenberg. Come on, man. And then what do we do what do we do in 2022? We go and trade the first, second, fourth round picks for Tyreek Hill. For Tyreek Hill, we go and trade for Tyreek Hill. Where's his contract? And we give him a 4-year, $120 million deal, $72 million guaranteed. If we select Jamar Chase the year before, we don't have to trade for Tyreek Hill. If we selected Justin Jefferson or Brandon Ayuk the year before, CeeDee Lamb the year before, we don't have to draft or trade for Tyreek Hill in that huge ass salary and all the problems that has came along with Tyreek Hill. So we have no first round pick in 2022, no second round pick in 2022, and no fourth round pick. Not to mention we give up $100 million you know what I mean? $120 million we give up. $120 million we give up. 2023. We get hit with the tampering. We lose a first round pick. Hit with the tampering. Now you can blame that on Stephen Ross. You can blame that on Chris Grier. I think it was a mess up on someone's part to go and fire, you go and you fire the coach that knows everything about it, who's going to snitch. What a devastating, to lose a first round pick for something like that that's killing us. You know what I mean? And then what else we do? We had another first round pick that we got for trading down for Jamar Chase. Now, mind you, we trade down for Jamar Chase, so we're like, all right, we got 3 first round picks. Well, in reality, 2 first round draft picks for trading out of the number 3 spot with San Francisco. We give 1 to Philadelphia to move back up. That leaves us with 1. That 1 extra draft pick we got to give to the NFL because we tampered. Because we were trying to get Tom Brady. So what did we get for trading down from the number 3 pick that we could have selected Jamar Chase to the number 11 pick or number 12 pick that we traded to Philadelphia to move back up to number 6? We got nothing. We got nothing extra. All we got, we pretty much did a trade for Jamar Chase for Jalen Waddle. That's what the trade was. That's what the trade was. Jamar Chase for Jalen Waddle, because we traded the 1 pick off to the Philadelphia to move up, and we lost the other one for tampering. We got nothing extra. We got nothing extra. But we still had our first round draft pick. But what do we go and do with that? We go and trade it to the Denver Broncos for Bradley Chubb. We go trade our first round draft pick to Denver for Bradley Chubb. He comes in. We give him a 5-year, $110 million extension, $23 million guaranteed for a guy that, let's be real, he was considered somewhat of a bust. He had one decent season. And other than that, his seasons over in Denver were mediocre at best. He did not live up to the number 5 pick in the NFL draft, not by a long shot. No way we should have gave up a first round draft pick for Bradley Chubb. No way. The right move would have been, and sorry, I got my notes all over the place. The right move would have been a couple of weeks earlier. The Baltimore Ravens traded a 2nd and a 5th round pick for Roquan Smith. A 2nd and a 5th for Roquan Smith. He gets a 5-year, $100 million deal, $45 million guaranteed. What's the better trade? Let's be real. Would have been smarter to get Roquan Smith, a linebacker that we've been missing since Zach Thomas, for $100 million, 45 guaranteed, or trade a first round draft pick for Bradley Chubb and give him a 5-year, $110 million, $63 million guaranteed. Roquan Smith was a huge blunder by this franchise. Choosing Bradley Chubb over Roquan Smith was a huge blunder. That's a huge mess. You're right, Scotty. That's a huge mess. Huge mess. We have no money to spend in free agency this year because of these contract extensions. Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb. That's $230 million right there between them two players. $140 million guaranteed between them two players. And then we trade for Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey, a corner that he's seen his best days. Let's be real. He's the best corner on this team by far, but Jalen Ramsey's seen his best days. We go and trade Jalen Ramsey for Jalen Ramsey. And we don't give up a whole lot for him, but he was in the middle of a 5-year, $100 million contract. We give him a 3-year extension, $72.3 million guaranteed. $72 million of that. No, it's a $72 million extension, $55 million guaranteed. His first year of that extension doesn't start till 2026. We're still paying him from the last contract. But we gave him that contract extension super early. Now he doesn't even want to play here. Oh, 2022 too. Another move that we made. And some people see it as a good move. Other people see it as a bad move. Other people see it as Teron Armstead. We give him 5 years, $75 million, $43.7 million guaranteed. Teron Armstead has always been an injury-prone player. Grier did not admit it was a rebuild. He did not. His lies might have told you it was a rebuild, but he didn't say it was a rebuild. Teron Armstead, 5 years, $75 million, $43.7 million guaranteed. What's that? 140 plus 55, 190. That's $240 million guaranteed between 4 players. Sorry, Scotty, I was reading it fast. Now, whether you think the Armstead contract was a good deal, I mean, the fact of the matter is he was a good player when healthy, but he wasn't healthy a lot. And he only finished 3 years of the 5-year deal. Miller, it's because we didn't draft correctly. It's because we could have drafted better. Imagine how different this team would look if some of these picks, not all of them. I don't expect Chris Grier to get all these correct. I don't expect him to get that little book from Back to the Future and know all the details of every draft coming in the future. I don't expect him to go get in his DeLorean and get the little red book. But damn, you can't get none of these right. You don't. What's up with our scouting department? You can't see any of these players are correct. Like, geez, come on. Like, what? I just, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh. Let me see. Where am I at? Sorry, I got a lot of notes. I was note taking and jotting and note taking and jotting. I do apologize. Give me 1 second. Oh man. Yeah, I mean a lot of misses. I'm not a lot of misses. Um, and then of course we had the Grier interview yesterday. I know I had more written down. Where is it? Sorry, I'm trying to find out where I started this. So a couple things that I want to touch on about the Chris Grier interview, or well, not interview, but press conference. Chris Grier was asked about whether he felt that this team had team leaders, if they had enough team leaders. And he responded, yeah. He said, we had Zach Sealer, we got Waddle, we got Jackson, we got Ingold. He said, we got Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill. He brought up the name Tyreek Hill as a team leader. Tyreek Hill as a team leader. Now, you all know my stance on Tyreek Hill and how much I want to keep him on the Miami Dolphins because he is such a great player. But not even am I naive enough to believe that he's a team leader. Do I think he goes out to practice and balls out and tries his hardest and then leads by example on the practice field? I do. But as far as a team leader, I wouldn't put those two things in the same paragraph. So which it leads me to believe, like, Chris Grier, do you even understand what's going on with the team? Do you even really understand what's going on with the team? And you're right, Scotty. I was just getting to say that he says Tyreek Hill, but does not mention Tua Tagovailoa. Now, does that mean Tua's not a team leader? No, it doesn't mean that. But the fact that you don't mention your quarterback, man, I mean, that says something. It says something. It definitely, people were going to notice that Tua Tagovailoa's name wasn't mentioned. Can we hit that like button for me, please? And make sure you hit the like button from yesterday. My numbers were super down because I know y'all chose TD over me. Come on, man. Though it was a family over here, I know the other content creators ain't answering and calling every one of you guys out by name. They might answer some of your questions, or if you send them $5, they might put your name up on the board. Make sure you hit that like button though for me, please. It helps me grow. I think I lost 1 subscriber this week, so I'm down. Yeah, that blows my mind. He says Tyreek Hill is a team leader. They asked if Stephen Ross said anything about Tyreek Hill. He said that the team already gave a statement that he knows about the Tyreek Hill situation, blah, blah, blah. he was asked if Tyreek's going to be traded. He said they're not looking into it. They're not exploring trade options for Tyreek Hill. But if we were offered 2 first-round draft picks, we'd entertain it. Do I believe he was asked if they've received any phone calls? He says no. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that he wasn't asked. He hasn't been called about Tyreek. This is the time when people are building teams. I don't believe that someone hasn't called the Miami Dolphins and said, "Hey, what will it take for Tyreek to become a member of the Dallas Cowboys?" Chris Grier is looking for a scapegoat. Tua, maybe. Had to, my man. TD's been a staple, but I'm with you on the draft. It's all right, Miller. Listen. I get it. TD's a good dude. He's a great guy, and I think my content differs from TD's content in lots of ways. And I hope at some point, people be like, "Oh, Big C, I got to switch over." I'll talk to you later, TD. Asked about the Jalen Ramsey trade. He said that Jalen Ramsey did not ask for a trade. That during multiple conversations between them and Jalen Ramsey, that they felt it would be best for both sides. How is it the best for both sides for you to choose to trade Jalen Ramsey? How is that what's best for both sides for you to trade? First off, we're not going to get compensation that equals what Jalen Ramsey brings to this team. We're not going to get a number 1 corner for what trade we made for Jalen Waddle or Ramsey. My fault. We're not going to get a first round corner or a number 1 corner for Jalen Ramsey. It's not going to happen. Not to mention, if you trade him now, the effects on our salary cap are devastating. Chris Grier said that has a rebuild been discussed? Has a retooling been discussed? He says no, that word has not been used. They're not talking rebuild. They're talking about winning games right now. How? If you're trying to trade your number 1 corner, you don't even got a number 2 corner on the team. How are you trying to win now? If you're trying to trade your number 1 corner for no reason. If you're saying that Jalen Ramsey didn't ask for a trade, why are we trying to trade him? Why are we trying to trade him if he did not ask for a trade? How are we trying to win now if you're trying to trade one of our top 7 players with no replacement in sight? How? How and why are we trying to trade him? How and why? How and why? When asked why we didn't restructure Tua Tagovailoa's contract, he said he didn't feel the need to. He said we went out and we signed James Daniels, a player that we wanted to sign. We have $17 million in cap space right now. I appreciate it, Bonnie. Listen, I'm not asking you guys to cut out other podcasters in your life. I'm just asking, I hope that someday you choose Big C. You know what I mean? If we're all alive, I hope someday you guys rock with me over. You know what I mean? That's just my hopes and dreams. We got 30 in the building. Can I get some likes? Can I get some likes, baby? Boop, 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 boop. Oh, yeah. Where was I? Shoot, doop, doop, the doobie, like Scooby Dooby. Where was I? Oh yeah, he said they didn't feel the need to restructure to his contract. You know, well, listen, obviously we weren't very aggressive in free agency, and you can make up your own mind about that. It's been discussed on here numerous times that people feel like Chris Grier put a safety lock on his checkbook. When asked about that, Chris Grier was asked about it. Did Stephen Ross stop spending? Did he tell you that you are no longer able to spend? And he says no. He says no. He said Stephen Ross wants to win more than any of us. In no way did he tell us that we can't spend the money or make the moves needed to bring in the players to make this team competitive. So again, I ask you why? Why are we not making the moves needed to make this team competitive? Why did we sit on our hands during free agency? Why? Well, he gives the reasoning that, you know, the NFL draft is very deep in positions that we have holes in. That he expects to fill a lot of them holes with draft picks, and that they will be making moves when the next wave of free agency comes about. He did mention Liam Eichenberg. Liam Eichenberg was mentioned. He said that nothing is guaranteed, but Liam Eichenberg was brought in to be a swing tackle and our guard, and he will be competing for a position on how did he word it? He's given Liam Eichenberg an opportunity to compete for a starting spot. He says nothing's guaranteed. Liam knows it, but Liam Eichenberg is definitely he's going to be given an opportunity to win the job. And I mean, how hard is it going to be to win the job if we don't bring in another piece? How hard is it going to be to win the job if we don't bring in another piece? Chris Grier was also asked about Calais Campbell. How come he went and signed with the Cardinals? Stephen Ross made it, or not Stephen Ross, Chris Grier made it out that he felt like Calais just wanted to go and play where he started at. How about the fact that you lowballed Calais and didn't offer him more money than what the Arizona Cardinals did? You knew he was our only opportunity to bring in a veteran on the defensive tackle position, a veteran that can help this team win. You knew that he was the only option available, and you lowball him. You don't offer him enough money. And we're not talking huge money. You couldn't have brought him back for a 1 year. And what kills me is you would have got some of that money back. Or at least some draft compensation. Because if we start shitting the bed, you could trade him to the Baltimore Ravens. It gained some draft capital. So it was a win-win. It was a win-win that you decided that you're smarter than us, that you're going to do what you want to do. Fuck what we think. You don't care. And you continue to make bad decisions. You continue to make bad decisions. You continue to make bad decisions. And then, a finish here. What really got me yesterday during this press conference, and make sure you hit them like buttons for me, please, and hit yesterday's like buttons. I think I only got like 14, 15 likes on yesterday's, only like 40 views. Make sure you check that out. Hit the like button, please. What really got me in this whole conversation, this whole press conference that left me with a real nasty taste in my mouth, is that he was sitting there speaking and he said so smugly, nobody wants to win as much as Stephen Ross and we do. We want to win more than the media and the fans do, just to get you off our backs. Just to get you off our backs. What a piece of shit thing to say from a general manager of a football team. That like we're a nuisance to him because we expect better. Because we expect better than mediocrity. We're a nuisance. We're annoying to them because we expect a winning football team. We're annoying to him because we complain about Liam Eichenberg signings. We get off our backs. We just want to win, so you get off our backs. What a complete joke that was. How dare you? How fucking dare you? How dare you? This guy's been in this franchise long enough, been in a position power long enough. He's not a rookie at this. He's not a rookie at this. He knows what the fuck he said and how the fuck he said it. You piece of shit motherfucker. With all your free gear while we spend our money on shit for this franchise. How we dedicate time and emotion into this franchise for you to fucking smugly say some shit like that. How dare you, motherfucker? That shit's crazy to me. So you get off our backs. You use a motherfucker for that. It blows my mind that he had the audacity to say that. What's wrong with this guy, man? What's wrong with him? Sorry, Craig. Sometimes it happens. I apologize for my language. I'll try harder not to. I'll try harder not to swear, Craig. My bad. Yeah, I apologize about my language. I'm sorry about that, folks. I just get super frustrated with this team, man. I get super frustrated. Miller, don't put me in a tough spot. I do apologize. I try to make content that's friendly for everybody, so I don't want to put people off. You know what I mean? Thank you, Craig. Everybody can use a prayer. You know what I mean? I appreciate prayers. But yeah, I mean, I feel like he was totally off base with that. And like I was just off base by swearing the way I did, you know? But I feel like Chris Grier should take into account the fans' feelings. Like without fans, you wouldn't have a franchise. You know what I mean? If people didn't show up to the field and spend money on your product, would you have a business? Would you have a business? I mean, let's keep it real. If no one bought tickets and no one bought merchandise and no one, you know, would you have an NFL franchise? No. So for you to criticize the ones that put money in your pocket is crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You know, we got the NFL draft rapidly approaching. God only knows what's going to happen. I'm hoping that we get some pieces that, regardless if Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel are here next year, or if Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel are gone, they're players that are not just scheme friendly. You know what I mean? I don't want to get a bunch of guys that are just scheme friendly. That if we get a different coach, a different general manager, that, hey, they don't want to, this guard doesn't work for them because they run a power rushing offense and we got a bunch of lightweight athletic guards. You know what I mean? I want players that are going to be able to fit a multitude of schemes. I want good physical football players. I want guys in the trenches. I want guys that, listen, I want guys that are going to help this team for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? I'm still hoping that Ramsey doesn't get traded. I'm still hoping that Tyreek Hill doesn't get traded. I'm hoping that we hit a home run on the draft. I still have hope, folks. Maybe it's me being naive. Maybe it's just me being a fanboy. But I hope and pray that we have a successful season. I hope Mike McDaniel keeps his job. I hope Chris Grier keeps his job. Because if they keep their job, that means that hopefully the team is winning. I mean, I don't want them to keep their job if they fail, obviously. But I hope they keep their job because we won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? I hope they keep their job because we won 3 Super Bowls. But it is what it is. I know that's unrealistic. I know that I don't really want Chris Grier to keep his job because we're not going to win Super Bowl with this team and how it's currently constructed. Oh man, it's been so long. I've never seen a Super Bowl. I've never seen one. And it hurts. It gets frustrating. But all right, folks, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Thank you again for coming through. Again, I do apologize about the language. I'll try to home that in more. I know the language isn't for everybody, so I do apologize. Forgive me, please. And man, when can we get some good news? Can we get some good news? Yeah, Elwood, he was doing it for a contract extension. Like, Jalen Ramsey's not asking for no new money. Matter of fact, he's just getting ready to start his contract extension. We just gave him new money last year, so we shall see. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. You know what it is. Always fins up to the day I die. I do apologize again to all of you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Love y'all. Thank y'all. Fins up. Peace.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah.
He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race, life is a chase. I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never